Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
The CEO who signs that paper signs as if they know everything that's in that book that they file, and these are the people who should be held accountable.
But instead, the media, which a lot of these big banks own and control, is telling us, oh, no, it was all an accident, no prosecutions, no investigation needed. Instead, we're going to try to hand at least $700 billion over to these people. And you mentioned it earlier. Clearly, you've got a conflict of interest because you've got a lot of people involved at the regulatory level who are, out of the same brokerage and banking structure, and now they're going after smaller banks, regional chains, which a lot of evidence shows aren't in financial trouble, and then seizing them. So it looks like a big bank consolidation to me.
There could be consolidation at almost the way you described it. You'd almost call it insider trading, wouldn't you?
Yes, sir. Let me give out it is insider trading, no doubt. That's a good way of putting it. In closing, let's give out the website. It's house.gov/Burgess, B-U-R-G-E-S-S. So again, house.gov/BURGESS, and folks can read about that particularly. Tell us about this regulatory fix instead of a huge bailout.
Well, there are 4 points, and again, Mr. Isaac, the former chairman of the FDIC, was kind enough to come up here from Florida and spend all afternoon with us and the Democrats. He met with both sides, and coming out of those conversations, distilled 4 regulatory points, and those are up on the website if people want to download those and study them and become a little bit more conversant. The problem is if we don't fix some of the underlying regulatory problems, we can shovel money at this thing from now till doomsday, and we're not going to fix it. In fact, we'll make the problem worse. We may go from a recession to a depression because of our efforts rather than inside of them.
Shifting gears finally, remember last year and this year, the Homeland Security Committee wanted to see PDD 51 by President Bush in its entirety. The cover sheet says under continuity of government that the state governors and the Congress are basically not even a rubber stamp if the president chooses to implement that for any emergency, including economic or any other emergency. Did you hear about that controversy with Congress not allowed to see that?
No, I did not. I sit on the Committee on Energy and Commerce. So we have a little bit different jurisdiction. So I didn't hear about.
Does that sound good to you? That the Congress
doesn't sound reasonable. We've fought on a number of fronts to ensure that the continuity of Congress is followed as the founders wanted it to. There's several people over the past several years who've wanted to change the equation to have members of Congress appointed in the times of national turmoil if many of us perish all at one fell swoop. But the reality is there should be only one way to get to the people's house, and that's through the people.
And what about Barack Obama? I know I brought this up to you about 20 minutes ago during a break, and I don't know if you had a chance to look at it up on Drudge. It's also up on Infowars.com. But when I first saw this Friday, I didn't believe it. I called Barack Obama's national campaign, the Missouri campaign. It's also going on in Illinois. Governor Blunt put out a press release calling it a police state, and I even called the prosecutors. It's not a joke. This really is happening. They're saying anybody that, quote, lies about Barack Obama in TV, radio, or print ads, and lying, they say, is saying he's wants to raise taxes or saying he's a Muslim.
He's voted for it about 90 times.
But, well, sir, I know. Congressman, I think I'm in the twilight zone, so I'm saying to you, what is your response to this? Because I feel like I'm in the twilight zone.
Well, what law do they say is being broken?
They say that...
The First Amendment? I don't think so.
They say that it's unethical. In fact, it'll only take 1 minute. John, you have that NBC newscast out of St. Louis, don't you? Yeah, well, I sent it to you over the weekend. The clip.
Ethics don't really seem to enter into a lot of things these days, so it's hard to believe that some arresting body is picking someone up because they make an unethical statement.
I'm not kidding.
Right.
They say it's like I'll tell you what, John, I don't want to play the whole newscast. Just play the last minute of it. Just cue it up and play it for the congressman so he can hear it. Okay, go ahead and play it.
We want to keep this campaign focused on issues. We don't want people to get distracted, and Missourians don't want to be distracted by these divisive character attacks. So we're here to respond to any character attacks, to set the record straight.
Whether it is directly attributable to the campaign or to one of the soft money operations, if they're not going to tell the truth, then somebody's got to step up and say, wait a minute, that's not true, this is the truth.
Now, the Obama campaign tells News 4 that others, prosecutors and sheriffs, are also part of the team, including some from the Kansas City area and from rural parts of Missouri. We're also told the Truth Squad is expected to include Jefferson County Sheriff Glenn Boyer. Live in Maplewood, John Mills, News 4.
And if I play the...
That's actually, I do have to go because we have a vote on here in a minute. That sounds pretty preposterous. Truth squads are okay because you do those in a campaign to get out there and mitigate any damaging thing your opponent gets out there about you, but you don't involve law enforcement. That's not part of the deal.
Well, they say it's for intimidation, and they say that I've called them. They say, no, if someone's lying, there will be a prosecution and criminal punishment, and they claim it's like, like you can't sell gas for $2 more than it's actually going for, and it's just amazing. Well, listen, thank you for so much of your time, and I hope we can have you back on again, Congressman from North Texas.
Sure. We need to come on and talk about health care.
Thank you, sir.
We'll
Take
fill
care.
A full hour.
You bet. Let's do a full hour sometime.
All right. Thank you.
All right. There goes Congressman Representative Michael Burgess. We appreciate his time spending about 40 minutes with us here on the air today. Shut down the normal legislative process to commit high financial crimes. And that is exactly what's happening right now. Now, let's go ahead and play that clip.
Time, the gentlewoman from Ohio.
1 minute, Mr. Speaker.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, my message to the American people, don't let Congress seal this Wall Street deal. High financial crimes have been committed. Now Congress is being asked to bail out the culprits and to do so at the expense of those who elected us to guard their interests, the people of our country. The normal legislative process that should accompany review of a monumental proposal to bail out Wall Street has been shelved. Yes, shelved. Only a few insiders are doing the dealing. Sounds like insider trading to me. These criminals have so much political power they can shut down the normal legislative process of the highest lawmaking body in this land. All the committees that should be scanning every word of what is being negotiated are benched, and that means the American people are benched too. We are constitutionally sworn to protect and defend this republic against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And my friends, there are enemies. We are told we will have a bill, $1 trillion bill to review soon, and have less than 24 hours with no regular hearings to try to vote on this tar baby. The people pushing this deal are the very same ones who were responsible for the implosion on Wall Street. They were fraudulent then, and they're fraudulent now. We should say no to this deal. I asked my colleagues to join us at 2 o'clock in HC8 of the Capitol to meet with some real experts who've done financial resolutions without putting the burden on the taxpayer. Please join us, HC8 at 2 p.m.
Time of the gentlewoman has expired. The gentleman from California.
Absolutely amazing. And she said it like it is. I've got to have her on the show. That's how Congress should be talking, about criminal hijacking of the Republic. And that's what it is. Now, I'm going to give everybody a little news flash. Do you know how much money last week, according to Reuters? I covered this a lot last night. Most of you heard it who listened. But we're going to go back over it today. I'm going to dig the story back out of the big stack. I've got yesterday's stack and today's stack. Both of them are over 50 stories deep. We haven't even gotten to them yet. $940 billion. So while everybody's distracted talking about a $700 billion bailout that every expert's saying is well over $5 trillion, I mean, just hundreds of experts, hundreds of top economists have sent open letters to Congress, that's in the news, saying do not do this, it's criminal. And while we're busy looking at this, $1 trillion+ defense bill passed just a few years ago, just 6-7 years ago. The defense budget was about $400 billion. The last one was about $700 billion. Now the new one's $1 trillion for 2009. $1 trillion+, and that's the on-budget defense package, and they passed a bunch of sanctions against Iran Friday while everybody was busy talking about the bailout, which is not a bailout. It gives dictatorial power to Paulson. It gives them immunity from all the crimes they've committed. And this is the very crew that has orchestrated all of this. And remember, you could pay off all the mortgages for right around $100 million that have been insolvent or even have a problem. So understand, the problem is not the mortgages. It is all the hundreds of different types of derivatives and hundreds of other different types of paper instruments that are worse than junk bonds. At least a junk bond is some frivolous, speculative company, where they claim they're manufacturing something or claim they're making something or doing something. And those are bad enough. People go to prison for that, like the Keating Five, except for John McCain running it all. He didn't.